Welcome to the planning board meeting for September 11th. Please stand for a moment of silence on the Pledge of Allegiance and observation of 9/11. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We're going to start with a resolution from Quantuck Beach Club. Anybody here? Will you waive the reading? I need a motion to waive the reading and accept the resolution as written.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We look forward to it. I guess the fill application is still on hold?
One more meeting.
Okay. Okay, so now we're looking at 5559 Old Riverhead Road. I think we're talking the appraisal. Were we all happy with the explanation?
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to add to that? Did anybody read the explanation besides me?
I read the executive summary.
Okay. Are there any other topics that anyone's aware of? Well, I guess we're on for resolution at the next meeting. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, we just wanted to confirm you guys were okay with the appraisal. It was the last.
Somebody
Where's the
put in
last
some
step?
effort. That's all we really wanted. All right, so I need a motion to hold the application over for a resolution.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, 99B Main Street. Looking for a waiver of site plan to do a renovation. I know there's been some mention. Hi,
I'm here for the applicant.
would you like to come up and give us a presentation, if you will?
It's a work session. Do you expect any explanations? But Katerina Greenko for the applicant, 99B Main LLC. So the applicant is just looking to do the interior renovation of the space, as well as exterior, no expansion of the space, and changing siding and putting new windows.
Well, is there any consensus that this should maybe go for architectural review board? Or are we, I mean, if we're changing siding and windows and stuff like that, do we have a responsibility to have somebody from the architectural review board give us an opinion?
Yeah, so if the change in the exterior is more than 20%, it goes to the ARB. If the planning board wishes to do the referral, that's usually the cleanest way, because if it goes back to them and you don't like what they say, you can override them. If you don't handle it before I can issue a permit, I send it to the ARB, and then if the ARB doesn't like it, they go back and forth with them.
So I see no reason why we shouldn't provide the ARB with the authority to look at this. Is that correct?
I think it would be wise.
Don, did you have something to add?
Yeah, first of all, I'm glad that that building's getting cleaned up. It's well needed. And I would hope that, and moving forward, you might want to consider some landscaping in the area.
Okay,
too,
yeah,
back there.
sure.
And
I'll
it would
relate it to
also
the owner.
Enhance your chances with the ARB, I think. But that building is in need of a lift.
Yeah, it will look
But thank you.
beautifully. We submitted like some renderings just so you have some visual, but it will look really nice and clean.
So do you want, this is only on as a work session, so you would have to decide whether you want to make a public hearing or not.
I don't think we need a public hearing. No,
Okay.
I think the ARB should weigh in, or at least
For
get
this
their.
level of alteration, it's specifically not recommended, but of course, it's up to the board.
Yeah, I don't see any particular reason that a public hearing.
No,
No.
Larry, do you have anything to add?
I don't. Send it to the ARB.
Okay.
All right, great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank Thank you.
So you wanna send it to the
Yes,
ARB as
please.
referral, or you wanna or you wanna grant the waiver? and
No,
then
we're going to
have
send
them
it to
go
the ARB as
as a referral?
a referral.
Okay,
We're all in favor of that, is that
Yeah,
correct?
100%.
Yep.
okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're here for the, site plan review for Prime Storage, 98 Depot Road.
Good evening, or afternoon, I guess. Would you like me to do an overview of what we're proposing to revise?
We wanna know what the changes are gonna be like and how you propose, or how you would suggest that we handle it.
Can you just state your name and address for the record?
Absolutely. Joe Neitzel from JMN Architecture, 406 North Country Road, St. James.
Thank you.
Previously, as this board knows, this application was submitted. There was a long lead time in the prior approvals to obtain site plan approval. Since then, my office has taken over as architect for the project. The prior architect and design team and overall development team are no longer involved, but it is still the same owner. Prime is the owner of the site. They do intend to still develop this, but they went in a different direction with their design approach for the facility. So before you this evening is an amendment to the previously approved site plan for the new building at 98 Depot Road. Previously, it was approved as a two-story facility with a modern mid-century design on the facade, whereas now the direction we're looking to proceed is with a three-story structure, more residential, I would say, in nature. We're providing some reverse gabling, some hardy plank siding, asphalt shingle, roofing for the building. The major change, I would say, is design to the building. Overall, from a site planning perspective, the site design remains relatively unchanged to what was there prior. You know, the footprint grew a little bit, a couple hundred square feet, but overall, the site design itself, I would say, functions as it did in the prior approval. We also are increasing the gross square footage from about 10,426 square feet to 16,700 by way of the addition of that third story. We saw some correspondence from the town planner, as well as, I guess, an internal memo about the need for that third story and why we can't achieve that through a cellar level. And really what it comes down to is the management finds that customers that rent these spaces don't want to be subterranean. There's a concern for moisture, their product or their goods getting moldy or mildewy because it's in a subterranean level, and they don't feel comfortable renting a subterranean space. So that's the reason we're expanding for the third floor instead of going for a cellar level for the building. Prime Storage's market analysis team has reviewed the proposed square footage for the 16,000 feet, and they have determined that there is adequate market supply to rent this up relatively quickly. And the reason we're going for the third story now is they don't want to have to come back to this board or do any other modifications in the future. This is the end goal for this property. Prior to Prime buying it, this was always, I believe, a discussion that a future building would be built in this location to replace the current trailer. So the goal is we want to build everything now, get it in place, don't need to come back to this board and hope that, this rents up quickly as Prime sees that it will, and that it's an asset to the community and a improvement on the existing trailer that's there. So I don't know how we want to handle this. I'm here to answer any questions, and would love the board's feedback or comments or recommendations.
Would you like to begin, Rob?
Sure. I saw an elevation view, and I
I think it needs to look more like, fit into the neighborhood. You've got a
Okay.
lot of wall space. I don't think you have enough windows or treatment in the front to make it fit into the neighborhood.
Sure.
You have a large blank wall on the, right side looking from the street,
South side or north side?
south side.
Okay.
I haven't seen the north side, but I haven't seen, elevation views. So
Okay.
the floor plan, I mean, as far as the site plan, okay. But that's my take on what I saw from drawing, from an elevation view.
Okay, thank you. We are open to comments for the design. We wanted to start with something, present it in front of this board,
Right.
get feedback. Prime is not looking to build something that's not beautiful and what this board would not like to see, or the residents of the community. So we encourage the feedback, and we thank you for that. We can make revisions.
Feels like it could fit in better with the neighborhood rather than, kind of look like a semi-warehouse
Sure.
at the end of the block.
I think we can provide some more architectural details, some more windows and,
Dress it up.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dave?
Oh, as a preliminary matter, I'm not generally favorable of a third story. We do have a rather large existing self-storage place down there, so to the extent that the massing could be similar in scale, so we have sort of similar buildings, I think you'd be better off, so it doesn't stand out one over the other. In terms of the appearance, oddly enough, I don't think the traditional view is the way to go. I mean, it is a self-storage building. It is what it is. So maybe it should look more similar to what's there in terms so that, it doesn't, we don't have a jumble of styles, it's along a railroad track. It's in an industrial area. Be realistic with what it is. You're not gonna make a 16,000 square foot building look like a house. It ain't gonna happen. So I think consideration should be given to that from my view. But I would be curious to see what the ARB has to say about it when we get to that point.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I don't lean too much towards trying to give it a residential appearance. I think it's an industrial structure, and however you can make it look good as a modern industrial building, I think that's a good way to go.
Okay. Our thought was to the west, we had a few residential homes there, so we wanted
Yeah,
to
there's,
make it look similar to those homes, but a commercial storage structure is easier for us, so if that's,
Yeah.
an appropriate path, we can also explore that.
yeah. I don't think it has to look like the neighbors. I mean, just because they put up what they wanted, you'll be able to do the same, so.
Thank you.
Don?
I'm not particularly in favor of a three-story building there, although it's industrial. That Depot Road's been overdeveloped over the years between the gables and everything else going down. It does face a residential area, a nice area. And it's also a building that our visitors that come to the village get off the train and see first when they visit West Hampton Beach. So I think all those things should be considered. I have no problem with the scale that you have there with the trailer. I've been in that trailer. It's very functional. But I would rather see it more on the scale of what you have there. And not being a trailer, but being a permanent structure.
Well, what I want to add is we've put in a great deal of time on this application, and this thing got kicked down the street so many times, and you guys have a habit of vaporizing. We put in all this work, and then we don't see it for a year, 2 years, or we get somebody coming in saying, oh, we're still here, we're waiting for, blah, 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 and nobody files anything. We don't see anything. So, ultimately, this is gonna go to the ARB. I'm interested to hear what our experts have to say on the topics.
We did seek on this, it's on listed action because it's over 4,000 square feet. The building has gotten bigger, so we're gonna have to tackle that as a matter of process. The previous seeker is that cover where we're at, we find it's consistent or not. If this is a modification, this could be subject to public hearing again if the board deems it so. ARB definitely. My big concern when I first talked to, forgot your name, sorry.
Joe Neitzel, it's fine.
Was
Architect's fine too.
The health department was really, it took 2 or 3 years. I know some of that was water service, not necessarily flow, but I'd like to know on the record that this is even buildable under the health department before we waste time with that. So I would like to hear that.
I can speak to that. This is absolutely buildable. We specialize in self-storage in New York and specifically in Suffolk County. And what we're proposing, and we've already been back to the health department. Well, let me take a step back. For the two-story building, there is already a health department approval in
Yes.
place. We have that. We've had conversations with the health department already.
That took a long time to get, if I'm not mistaken, or was that just filing?
I believe it had to do with some easements and cross-access for some properties in the rear. To be honest, I wasn't involved at that time, so I don't know the specifics of it, but from what I'm told, it was some easement-related issues with some properties at the rear for water service and whatnot. But since I've spoken to Mr., I believe you are Mr. Hammond, correct? Perfect. Since I've spoken to Mr. Hammond, we have resubmitted our application to the Department of Health. They are not going to require a new filing. It would be an amendment to the original filing, and they don't anticipate an approval to take longer than 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully the next time we come back here, we'll have the updated approval from the health department. It's not a density issue. It is a covenant restriction that is allowed to be filed on the property because it is a mini storage warehouse. And the flow required for this facility is based solely on the square footage of the sales office. That's what the covenant and restriction in the health department allows for. So it is not a density issue. It is strictly a amendment to add that third floor back in and modify the covenant and restriction that's already in place.
Ron, do you have some input here?
Yeah, we approved this site plan many years ago, and when it was approved, the bigger building, building, the site plan itself complies now. I think with the bigger building, you added another drainage basin to cover that building. It's probably now a little over drained because there's already drainage in it. The amount of impervious surface is decreasing because you're eliminating some parking, but the parking still meets code. The only problem I found with it was having trouble reading some of the lighting code. You used one lamp that was over 3,000 Kelvin, you can't go over 3,000. Our lighting generally restricts the height to 12 feet. I sent a memo.
Yep.
So the lighting's gotta be more, I think.
We intend to adjust that to comply with the regulations.
Yeah, it's not big stuff, but having looked at it, your rendering, I noticed that some of the lighting that I saw was too high, was for a sign. So I'm not sure that the ARBs can allow that sign to go up that high either. So combination of lighting and sign, I think it's gonna need some work. I don't know what the signing code allows you as far as lighting, but the lighting code seems to say you can't go that high. So that's an issue.
Okay. We will revise that accordingly to comply. I already spoke to our engineer about the site lighting at the rear. We intend to lower the temperature of the light bulbs as well as lower the fixture height. And we will absolutely look into the signage on the front to make sure that is 100% compliant as well.
If you, and I don't know if you may have had something on it, the code has a table of min and max and average and that kind of stuff. Try and present that code back with how you comply. I doubt if you'll be able to comply 100% because it's just impossible. You just want to get it close.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anthony, do you have a pathway for us? How are we proceeding with this application?
I mean, what Brad identified was the seeker issue. And that's kind of minor, you gotta look at whether the change would change any of the answers to the questions relating to seeker, and I think that's something Brighton could probably turn around by the next meeting. Other than that, I mean, it's a normal site plan.
So are we
You're-
sending this application to the ARB?
It sounds like that's a pretty important issue for you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really hear a consensus on the board yet about the architecture, so my guess is they'd want to get some feedback from the ARB as soon as possible and maybe bring that back to you guys.
You know, I'm not satisfied with the renderings I've seen personally. I mean, just to add my opinion to the four we've already heard.
Well, then maybe, I mean, look, if three of you, unless three of you are satisfied with it, maybe you want to take a crack at directing where you want it to go before you send it
Well,
to
since the
That's up
ARB
to
isn't
you
a
guys.
driver on the bus, I guess the smart move would be let them digest it and then bring it back here and, you know, hopefully they have some input that brings us all on the board closer together as far as a consensus goes.
Seems to be the biggest issue.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm not saying it's a big issue, but the lighting is a relatively minor adjustment that these guys can make, and
The secret's
seeker
not an
seems
issue.
pretty minor, so the only thing that's really out there is the aesthetics.
Previous, we had alternatives to the board. It was a concern, being close to the street and looking too industrial or not. I mean, attitudes change, boards change, right? So, maybe an alternative or two come in, and then you send it to the ARB, so you could just out of hand say, I really don't like this one. I don't really wanna set them up.
And we went through an extensive landscaping
Yep.
scenario on this too. I think that was probably a larger driver than the final architecture that came in.
Because there was some sparse landscape around the perimeter. This landscaping plan looks pretty good to me, but, you know, this is.
It's pretty rigorous compared to the original one. We added some more landscaping to the prior approval as well, so.
I'm not sure that,
We went through that in prior approval, and a lot of landscaping was added, and now it's gotten more mature. Unless some stuff is died out there and needs to be replaced, you know, the perimeter and
The street trees are all remaining as well.
because, you know, because the building is going in, certainly the planting and the path that surrounds the building, and that actually gets a little bigger with this. That could be enhanced.
But since we, looked at,
Periphery.
but looked at it this last, it's like the whole nature of that whole area from Old Riverhead Road to Depot along the railroad tracks has changed. I mean, we have a lot, we have the 7-Eleven up there, with a different mix of buildings, so how this is going to look in that mix is now different than it used to be. And we seem to have a slight difference in opinion, myself and Larry sort of indicated, let's call a spade a spade. It's an industrial building.
Yeah.
Whereas there might be some other members of the board who might favor a more softened look. So, I mean, certainly, I would think.
I'm flexible with it. I mean, if
The
it,
ARB should get it knowing that that's
Well, I
a
mean,
divergence of opinion.
Brad's suggestion is probably the valid one in as much as we've asked the applicant for some options, you know, and he's indicated a willingness to provide that. So why don't
is that something we can keep on this board without sending it to the ARB?
I think we should take a look at some options first, something, not waste a lot of time and
Yeah,
money
to
doing
me,
it.
if we can
Just a
speed it
couple
up,
of
let's do it.
Like, you
Yeah,
have that,
well, I mean,
Don, where's that elevation? view?
If I
in that?
may-
at this point, I mean, how many
After
years?
14
Prime
years,
doesn't
you
like
know.
the look of the Metro, so if we're trying to gear towards the look of the Metro, in their
Where's that
opinion, they
down?
think that's
Would you
bland
please
and
just-
boring, right? They want this to be a premier, one of their portfolio properties, if I should say, from a design perspective.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe you can give us a couple options.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, certainly this could be worked with to
Yeah.
not look like such a blank stare.
That's my point.
And, maybe
you-
we could do that and we could
The
get
way I
this
look
thing
at
done.
it, everybody else has their opinion, I have mine. You're driving down a residential street, and then you come to this.
Well, this isn't the
That's-
worst thing we've seen. I
No.
mean, the last one was worse than this.
Well, yeah, but my point is now that we have a chance to maybe dress this, but that's the way
I
I'm
agree with
looking
you.
at it.
Like in the center between those two reverse gables is a bit
You
stark.
understand my point?
Yeah.
It's like, can't make it look like a house, cause it's
Sure.
not a house. But you're coming down a residential street and then you get to this 30-foot tall structure.
Mhm.
That's my point.
Okay.
It is going to save you time and work if you present some alternatives to this board first.
Okay.
I guarantee if
Or they're gonna come up with a fourth.
Then we're just running the clock again. Larry's point is very valid. We'd like to get you out of our hair.
Thank you.
And let you,
We wanna start building in the spring. That's our goal,
let
you
you go
know?
fester the way you have in the past. We'll see you in another 10 years.
We got a new architect in town here, and we're gonna do our best to get this thing going. We wanna have a building permit by spring, so we can start this project and be done with it.
But we
That's
want
our
you to have
goal.
a building permit way before
One
spring.
suggestion, by the way, when you're doing your drawings, look at the sign code, because when you throw a sign on that's that big, it doesn't look like it's gonna
It's
comply
not
with the
gonna
code
fly.
anyway.
Okay,
So you might as well propose something that's code compliant as opposed to something in your face that is not code compliant and just gonna stick out as, you know.
that'll be the first thing
You're
we switch
referring
out.
to a
Yeah, it's
sign
gonna,
on the
Absolutely.
it draws
building,
too
right?
much attention to
Sure.
it. It's not a code compliant wall sign, I
Referring
don't
to a
think,
sign on the building.
just by looking at it, so.
On the building.
On the building.
Yeah, no, I don't think a sign belongs on the building. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Does Prime have other buildings like this in their portfolio? That you could provide some pictures of or something?
Yes.
Might help with the alternatives without going through the cost of drawing.
Yes.
That's just
I guess it depends on the style. Are we looking for more industrial, modern, more resident? You know, that's.
forward.
I could present two residential gabled type facilities that they have, and two more commercial, modern type designs, and we could submit
But
those to the board.
context is gonna be critical, and I don't know that you're gonna get the same context that you would here. You know, I mean, we've got members that are thinking that it doesn't necessarily look bad to make it a big box like the
Right.
one next to it, but
That's what they don't want. So if we're looking for that, it's going to be a tough sell for me back to my client to try to
well, we
provide
don't
a
want you to have a
box.
tough sell.
Yeah.
We want it.
We want
we'll
something
have
that's
it
gonna look
greased
nice.
out here.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you can just clean up what you've got a little bit based on the
Sure.
conversations we've had, I think we can move forward.
Great.
But as a practical matter, if your client has a particular vision for the property in mind,
It's that.
I get that. But certainly I don't want to dissuade your client. It's their property.
Yeah.
They
I
have
mean,
every right to see what they want to see, and then we'll review it, but.
just so the
a
board
few
knows,
options would be-
that's version 5 internally for me
Oh, wow.
to them. So like we had a few renditions before that was even presented, but we'll go back, we'll take a look at it, and
Well,
we'll
this
see.
isn't far off base, short of the signage.
Yeah.
Great.
I agree with that comment.
Okay.
You're not far away.
Thank you.
And public hearing wise, it's not recommended. This was on the agenda for public hearing for years and years and years. I don't think anyone ever came out.
No.
But
No, and we don't want to invite trouble.
So
It's at the
some
train
alternatives
station.
coming back, we'll distribute, we'll come back again, have the work session, and then we'll refer it over to the ARB.
Do we have to refer to, we don't have to refer to,
If you don't refer to the ARB,
You're
I
gonna
can't
do it.
issue the
Yeah.
permit without.
okay.
And then if the ARB makes changes that are substantial, I have to bring it back to this board. It's
Make sure you look at that sign code.
Absolutely.
Do we still retain supermajority authority to
as
overrule
long
the
as you
ARB?
refer it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Otherwise, it gets more complicated. It's better
Okay.
to refer the person, have them come back to you.
I was looking to give him a haircut.
Yeah.
No.
All right,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks.
So we'll come back, we'll present the updated renderings to the building department, I guess, submit them to the board for your review, and then we'll determine a next date to come back.
Submit it to us, and then we schedule you on the first meeting that it's submitted within 10 days. So if you want to go on the 25th of September, get it to us by Monday. Otherwise, it will be October, I think it's 8th.
Okay,
But
awesome.
just- If you have questions, just shoot me an email and we'll figure out the dates.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
And
I appreciate it.
If you submit it digitally, that's a lot easier.
How long has this been going on? 5 years, 6 years? So,
Me,
another 2
I've only
weeks?
been involved in it for 6 months or so,
another
so
2
I can't
weeks.
speak before that, but
Came in 2019. I tried to
6
scare him out of here. So
thank you very much.
Thank you. We look forward to you actually doing this.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, moving on to our review of WHB10 Realty LLC.
I don't know if they're here, but it's just a change of use from from a contractor's office to a dentist's office at Sexton Commons.
I don't think, well, we had some parking issues. Did you review that, Ron? Were you?
Yeah, it's right on the, well, let me explain. There, the dentist's office requires one space for every 100, one parking space for every 175. Their contractor office, which normally in the code is one space for every 200. And if you calculate those out, you end up with 4 and change. So it's swappable. Unfortunately, this is B1. It's a little footnote on the end of that office. It says if you're in the B1, you're 250 square feet. And if you calculate that out, it's 4. So now you're short 1 space. It is kinda,
It's kind of ticky-tack. Because
Yeah.
we gave all these, we made it easier in the B1. But
To
then when
increase your
When you
retail.
come back to grandfather, it kind of hurts you.
Kills you.
When you switch.
also. you
What was
know,
it approved as? Like back whenever it was
One
approved?
for 150.
It was, yeah, probably when it was approved, before my time, it was 1 for 150.
Oh, geez.
The other thing is, although the building has no parking, you know, so it relies on the village parking. You know, if you look at the village parking study, there's space available in the village parking immediately adjacent, a lot often, built. The time a dentist operator is in business is not one that conflicts with the restaurants when they
Right.
squeeze for parking. And I think I made a recommendation that, you know, it could be relaxed a little for retail and office because, you know, that's not what we heavily use in parking. So I'd say, so, you know, I'm not really concerned about a real problem. It's kind of a paper problem, and I don't know whether, if the planning board can take care of it.
Is this within our, I hate that face when you do that. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, I think it's the planning board's job to determine what the grandfathered parking is. Under the code, right?
Actually, I
The-
make the determination as the building administrator, but we do it in concert with this board.
Yeah, it's one of those other things too, because our code.
Right,
says-
because then you determine whether they need a variance or not.
Yes.
No, that's where we're,
the code
that's,
says-
that's,
The code says
that's the elephant in the living room.
175
Or in the
for medical
backyard.
arts,
Oh.
and 1 for 250 for professional office. Now, both Brad and I kind of agree this is really medical arts, but it's, you know, it's in an area that's a little on the gray side.
Brad, where do you fall on this?
So I had it as previously office is 1 for 200 going to 1 for 75. There was no change. It was 4.2 to 4.8. It was still 5. Still 5 municipal spaces that don't exist. So I didn't really want to make a big sticking point of it, but you know, Ron's correct when he says, well, we had this allowance that went for 250 in B1. But I don't know that the you know, with the grandfathering, it's a little more complicated. You go back to when it was approved, all right, when it was approved, what was it known as, so it didn't really occur to me that this was an increase, but
It technically is, but it's, you know, because we deal with fractions,
Yeah.
it's so close, it's almost a shame not to.
Tie goes to the runner.
I want to put it this way, because it's always been retail and office, and then, yeah, we've had some contractors' offices, but actually the parking is a little less than that, but it's all downtown and it's all 250 and people are parking everywhere. They know that the restaurant has never been on the table, these more intense uses have never been on the table. I think this is the first time we've had like dry type The yoga classes brings a lot of people. It just seems like more of the same what's going on there.
Yeah, it seems to fit the,
Yeah.
fit the
And
use.
like Ron said, it's, I don't think, you're not going to the dentist at 8 PM on a Saturday night. So it doesn't seem to compete with some of the other parking.
Do we know what type of practice is it? How many dentists are coming in there? How many chairs they're gonna have or anything like that?
It's a floor plan. I was hoping someone was here to speak to that because I think that is very,
That's relevant.
that's relevant.
That's
I mean,
definitely
how many-
relevant.
Are there 3 dentists in there or
Right.
1 dentist?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm
It
saying.
might be a bit much.
Right. How many chairs are gonna be in there, x-rays, so forth? I mean, I think it's great in terms of diversification for, off Main Street there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even have any dentists in the area there. I think it's a good thing.
That's the other thing is we don't get many new dentists on the east.
Right.
End. This is a relatively new practitioner, up on Riverhead Road for the last 3-4 years.
So we don't have a feeling of how many
Into our
dentists.
master plan.
What's that?
We don't have a feeling of how big this practice
Well, we have
is
the floor
envisioned.
plan, and it shows several rooms. You know, the overall space itself is not very big.
I mean, I would be comfortable if, we'd sort of defer to Brad to just analyze it and do what he does and make a determination if he thinks they need a variance or not. If he says no, then you put that in the file and we move on, as far as the parking goes.
I kind of like the idea of comparing apples and oranges with the parking, leaving the extra credit you get for the downtown aside, because I feel like that was a different instrument or a different tool to help flexibility downtown. But I think everywhere else in every other zoning, if it's 1 for 200 or 1 for 175, and that number doesn't take us past, it's 4.3, now it's 4.8. To me, I think that's the same.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
if it's 5, 5.1 or something.
Yeah,
then
if it
it's
went over 5, we'd have a conversation.
Yeah.
It shouldn't penalize them, but in grandfather.
So I'm prepared to probably make that determination and, you know, add, tweak that to grandfather where it's not taken, because it helps in other circumstances too. Like Ron said, anything that was built downtown was 1 for 150 or 1 for 200. Yes, we have a lot of pre-existing that we never discussed, but now that we've relaxed it to 1 for 250, they come back in to change, it hurts them. It makes things impossible, you know, it forces them to get variances. Practically, this didn't seem like it was a real impact on the parking.
Rocco, do you have any objection to Brad handling this
None
in
at
an
all.
appropriate way?
I think he's right on.
Mr. Riley?
He's on the right track.
I lost track about 5 minutes ago, so.
Let Brad handle it and let's get her done.
Yes, based on what we talked about here, I would like to see Brad handle it.
I would like to,
I-
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to-
No, go ahead, please.
I'd like to speak to you too about, I do see 4 rooms. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about 3, 4 different dentists, because that might be a good one. So, yeah, I think that's relevant.
Yeah, I do want to say something. I've been going to the same dentist for 50 years. I go back to Nassau County. And administratively, there used to be four or five people in the Office of Administration. With today's technology, it's down to like 1.5 individuals that work it, because everything's computerized. I mean, when you go to the doctor, you get the text messages back, and they just don't have the staffs they used to administratively also. So I think that should be considered also.
The other thing with dentists today, because I go to 2 single dentists for different things, if I remember, they have like four patient rooms, because they do
Right.
different things in different rooms.
Mhm.
Right.
So probably one dentist operates.
This,
I think that if you clarify that and have I mean, if they're not putting a half a dozen dentists under one roof and trying to squeeze everybody into 4 rooms, then we've got a problem. If it's 1 dentist, 2 dentists, or,
And if
You
you're
know.
not comfortable, then you send it back to the board. You collect the information and
that's
you
all.
bring it back to
Yeah.
the board, right?
you know, realistically, that office isn't big enough for 2 dentists.
Not probably.
It's not big enough for 2 dentists. Dental hygienist, you gotta, so that's really a one-man
in all,
operation.
yeah, in all
Or one
likelihood,
woman.
you're gonna have one doctor running from one room to the next room as he's set up. I mean, that would be the logical thing.
I like that type of business going there.
Yeah,
it's
I do
good.
too. All right, Brad.
So, again, public hearing is not necessarily
No.
recommended, but I will contact them and say, we're gonna hold it over to a future meeting, try to schedule with them and get these questions answered, and then we can decide. It's on for a modification because there is increase in design flow, which is evident. We do finally now have a connection permit to connect to the sewer, and including putting drainage in, because there was a big issue with drainage over there. That plan was approved last month, so this has also been kicking around, but I said that we wouldn't even entertain it unless the sewer was sorted out, so finally, with the trustees' help, pushing people to connect, that should be done as well.
And they won't get their CO until that, both,
Right, everything's
so you guys are,
complete.
do your thing, but they also have to complete the hookup and the drainage before they're gonna get their
They won't
CO.
even get a permit unless the sewer people are happy.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, I think this is a good use, and I think we'll
Yep.
certainly, we're all in favor of requesting that you handle this for us. That's it.
Minutes.
I need approval for minutes of August 14th. I need a motion.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
I don't believe we're ready for a review of the 25th, though we do have a good footprint of what's going on. And I need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.